Hello, I want to show us how to price form work. And we know form work come in two categories. We have the rough face and the fair face. And the ingredients you need to price this item are you have the plank, which is the 1 by 1 by 12 feet, which is the plank. Then you have the plywood, which is for fair face, while the plank is for rough face that will eventually requires plaster to make it smooth. Of course, the nails, and the bag of nail is 28,000, and for 18 kg, usually you hardly find where you have 20 kg complete. Then the cost of labor, of course, this could be debated. I could as well say I have say 7,000 I pay per day, divide by 8 hours. Divide by 8 hours, it gives me 875 per hour. Then how many hours does it take a carpenter to couple 1 square meter of formwork? That is, you are now calculating both fixing and removing, because it is all together. There's no item in the bill that is for deshortening. So when you are pricing your formwork, you are considering the cost of fixing, framing, and deshortening. So let's say a 3 hours will take a 1.1 and a 2 hours to frame and fix for 1 square meter. Then a 1 hour for removing the formwork. So multiply by 3, it gives me this. So this is my cost for labor cost for formwork. Then oil, of course, is usually my own approach is, because I keep cost data from previous projects. I keep cost data from previous project. I could extrapolate to know what was the cost of my formwork to buy my planks to the ratio of what is the cost of the oil I bought to apply on the surface of all the formwork throughout the duration of the job. So it gives me a percentage that I can always apply when I am putting up when I'm building up rates for formwork. Then acro props in the market now is 750 for rental, 750 per each, and you have 2 acro in a square meter. It's going to use 2 acro forms within a square meter. Then it's going to stay for 30 days, because let's say you're using 1 week to prepare your form plus the reinforcement. Then after casting, your concrete ought to stay for 21 days for curing. So that price has to be all included. So let's say this is 30 days, 7 days for preparation of the formwork, reinforcement. Then you now cast. It's going to stay for another 21 days. So you have 45,000 per square meter. That is why usually people, if it is not a big project that you're going to use as many times as you can, say you're building a high-rise building where you have multiple floors, you know that before you will finish those multiple floor, the monies you use in buying those acro props, you must have gotten it back. So investing in acro prop for, say, a singular building of 2 floors, it might not be profitable. That's why you see people go for alternative like bamboo. So this then you have bamboo. Bamboo is a 2,200 per piece, and because of its length, you can always get two from one piece, which is that is why you see the 2,200 including transport to site, because the actual price is 1,800. That loading and unloading is part of the 1,800. Then you factor in the cost of transporting it to site, then divide by 2, it gives you 1,000. Then the bamboo can be used twice. If it's properly taken care of, it can be used thrice. So that is why you see 2 number to 1 square meter divide divide by 3, meaning I'm going to use it thrice. That is why I have this amount. You see how cheap it is compared to accro of 45,000 per square meter. People often go for bamboo as a cheaper option for their job. So having said this, we come to the formwork proper. I am calculating the cost for a rough formwork, and usually the rough formwork is basically the planks and the brace and the support. So I said 1 square meter of it, the cost of this plank, I am going to use it 1.5 times. And why do I say 1.5 times? Because we are talking practical in this sense. We are not about theory. In actual sense, these days you hardly get woods that are very durable, that can, after one use, you can deshutter it and still have the wood all complete. So my assumption here is that after using it once, what I'm going to salvage when I am deshuttering will be half what I have used. So that is why I said I'm going to use 1.5 times. So, and the cost for the planks is a 1,800. 1,800 now per plank, which is a 3 meter. Hardly you get 3.6 these days. A 3 meter by a 30, 0.3, which is the width. So if you divide it by 0.3 by 3, you get the cost per square meter. Then the formwork, the timber, of course, let us do an illustration. An illustration here. The illustration is, I want to draw a sketch of a typical formwork. This is my ply. I know the ply alone on its own cannot withstand the weight of concrete. So it needed bracing. And for a 1 meter height formwork, you need a bracing. You need a bracing at the edge. You need a bracing at the center. You need a bracing at the bottom. Don't mind my drawing, just follow me. Then this bracing you have here, all of this is to reinforce the plywood. Then these are all reinforced. Then these are support to reinforce the plywood. Why the bracing is the one you put after you're trying to align it, you put another ply, another timber in this manner. You put another timber in this manner. Then you now have a bracing. You have a bracing. Then usually after you, if this is your, say this is your beam, you have another form here. Then beneath here, you have all the supports, maybe carrying the whatever. Then there is usually a button you put underneath here that should hold the bottom. A bottom here, say a button that holds the bottom of the formwork under that you're going to nail to hold the bottom so that the bottom does not move. Why this support is for the top. So now if you want to calculate, you are going to have, for reinforcing the formwork, you have three wood. One, two, you have one, two, three. You have one, two, three. Then for the support, for the brace, you have two vertical and two diagonal, and they are all 1 meter in length, because the formwork, we're dealing with formwork of 1 square meter. So the length from this point to this point is 1 meter, while the length from the top to the bottom is 1 meter, meaning these two vertical supports, they are 1 meter, and usually, because this is diagonal, definitely it will be slightly longer than the vertical. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to take all as 1 meter. You have 4 1 meter for brace, and you have 3 1 meter for reinforcing the formwork. So that is what I have here. You can see I have 0.05, which is by 0.075, which is 2 by 3, times 1, which is 1 meter by 3 numbers, which is this 3 for the reinforcement. While you now have 0.05 by 0.075 by 1 meter by 4, which is for the bracing. So it gives you this then you now say you're going to use it twice. That is why I divided it by 2. I'm going to use it twice. So I have this as the cubic meter of my formwork. So this the 995,000 per cubic meter is me converting the cost of 1 plank, which is a 2,000, a cost of 1 plank, which is a 150 by 50 by 3 meter, 2,100, converting it to cubic meter. First, I get the cubic meter of the 1 timber. Then I divide 1 by the cubic meter. It gives me this. Then I now multiply it by 2,100, which is the cost of 1 timber. It gives me 93,000. So I have this 93,000 multiplied by this cubic meter. It gives me this amount. Then for the nails, also, we can as well do the calculation, but just like I said, if you keep your datas, you are the kind of person that keeps your datas always, because it varies. One carpenter can decide to put 1 nail at the edge here, put 1 nail closely at 300 centers to hold this wood. One can decide to put at 600 centers to hold this wood I used to reinforce the the planks. This we are dealing with planks now, not plywood. So I could as well say, okay, I am going to put nails on this 1 meter at 300 centers, and the nail is 3 inches. So I can calculate, okay, at 1 meter I have 3 numbers here, I have 3 numbers here, I have 3 numbers here. Then for this vertical, I have 3 numbers here, I have 3 numbers here. Then for the bracing, I have 2 at the bottom, 2 at the bottom, 2 here, 2 here. Sum them together, get the weight of the number of nails I have here. I can as well get the kg and put. But if you have, over time, you have your data that you have kept on your project, you know how much it costs you to buy, say, nails. You ensure that it is not stolen, that you meticulously guide it to make sure that those nails were judiciously used. You can as well get the total square meter of that on the project, divide it by the total number of the total kg of nails you bought, divided by total number of square meter you have on that project. It will give you an average ratio of nail per square meter. So in this regard, I'm using 0.08 kg, and my rate is 28,000 per bag, and I divided it by 18. I divided it by 18 kg, which is one bag. So it gave me 1,555 per kg. That is what you're seeing here. You multiply it here. Then the grease, just like I did said, now I am taking 5% of the cost of my planks that I'm going to apply the oil, of course, to ease the shortening of the plywood, the planks or plywood, to, and at the same time give you some advantage of you making use of it more than one and all of that. So I took 5% of the cost as the cost for my oil. I arrived at this, which is the cost. Then now, of course, timber, there are wastes that definitely will come out of all of the use of it. So I have 10% waste for this. Of course, it can as go as it's between 5% and 10%. So I have 10% of the whole of this, but including nail and including everything. I'm going to lose 10% of it for off cuts and all of that. So that is what I have here. 1.1 of this amount gives me this amount as my cost of material. Then now that we have done analysis for the labor, I will now take this as my cost of labor. So having taken this as my cost of labor, I now have 5,649 as the cost of my formwork per square meter. Then, of course, overhead. If you've not been following my video, please hit my page at www.youtube.com/quantity surveying made easy at quantity surveying made easy _2014. You will see one of the video where I dealt with how, which specifically the video is the how to price staffing of a site. You will see where I dealt with how you compute your overhead and your profit. Then you hit this and hit. This is the percentage of my profit. I assume percentage of my profit, depending on what you want. Then the cost of your formwork will now be 7,235. Mind you, this is assuming you are dealing with vertical surface. So the difference between the rot and the fair face is the plywood. And the plywood in this case, because of the durability compared to the planks, I am applying 3 uses. I'm going to use it thrice. That's why I have 1 square meter divided by 3 to give me what the cost will be. Then my cost of plywood is 41,000. There are marine plywood of 30, 35. There are marine plywood of 60,000. There are marine plywood of 80,000. That of 80,000, because of the durability, it can be used 6 times. If you carefully taking care of it, can even go as far as 8 times. So depending on what you're using, but in this case, we are using 41,000, which is the lower grade of it. That's why I'm applying 3 uses. And you divide, for you to convert it to square meter, is you dividing the price by the length of the plywood and the width to get 14,000. So other variables are the same. Then you are having a 13,000 per square meter here, and you have a 7,000 per square meter. Then for the suspended slab, where you needed to either you have vertical support, which is either anacro, props, or bamboo. And I will tell you why people are going for bamboo. Going for bamboo this time around is the cost of initial cost of acro prop, even both rental. Because for you to rent an acro prop, you say a 750 per prop, 750 per prop per day. Then in a square meter, or in a square area of 1.2 by 1.2, I have, and you are placing it at 60 center. I have one here, 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 I have one here. So, and this will be sharing with the next phase of plywood. This one also will be sharing with for the next phase of plywood. This one too will be sharing. This ones here will be sharing. This ones too will be sharing to the next phase. Only this one that will just be on its own. So by the time you divide this, all of this, you'll be getting two to a square meter. So that 2 to a square meter is what I did here. I said 750 times 2 prop multiplied by 30. Why is it 30 days? Because you have the day, there are the days you are going to prepare the form, which is the slab. Then the reinforcement guys will now come and work on top. Then you will now come and cast. After casting, you're expected to cure for 21 days. So I am putting the total duration of the prop staying on that formwork for 30 days, including the days you're preparing the formwork and applying the reinforcement and doing all the electrical piping and all of that. So that's why you are getting 45,000. So 45,000 per square meter. Say you're having a structure where it's a 300 square meter and you want to rent props for 300. So you'll be spending 13 million to rent prop for just one slab. But this can only be beneficiary when you are having a multiple floor. Say you're having, say, 5, 6, 7 floors. So the reuse, and you can as well sell to even get some 30% or 40% the value at the end of the project. But for bamboo, it is after using it only be as good as waste. Can only use it for fire and all of that, but it is cheaper. You can see it's a 2,200 divided by 2, which is the length of 7 meters divided by 2 to have take you to, you can get 2 pieces in one. Then you can see I am going to use it thrice. You're going to use it thrice. That is why it's divided by 3. Then the cost you this for the same square area. You're going to, for 300. So you're going to be spending a 224,000 for support. Why acro props you're going to be spending 13,500,000 for a singular use. But this now is thrice you're going to use it. So you can see the difference. So if this explanation that is why I am treating the propping separately. So you can now choose the one you want to use in addition to this for slab. But for vertical face, say walls, beams, columns, and all, I have considered everything in this area, excluding the prop. And sometimes, not even sometimes, for things like this, for acro props, they are treated under preliminary items. You treat them under preliminary items, which it is more safer. Should in case you are delayed and you want to lay claims, it will be separately, because if they are on site and not used and you rented them, the client has to reimburse you because they're on site. But if you build them into the street, it will become an issue of justification and all of that, and it will lead to a lot of confusion and delay. So if this has improved your knowledge on how to price Formwork, please like my page, follow my page, and share to other colleagues that are in the profession that want to improve their knowledge. Thank you.